Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell and this is my review of Honey Boy. Now it's hard to call this film a biopic of sorts because while it is based on events that Shia LaBeouf went through as a young child, kind of a child actor dealing with his father, and then also him as a young adult going through addiction and mental illness type of stuff. It's not based, or it's not like a focus on his actual life. It's based on those events. It's not actually taking place, just mimicking them. And in that sense, it makes a lot of allusions to his film career, kind of with like even Stevens and the Transformers films. And you just kind of get to see and kind of place where he is amongst the timeline with those types of films and shows that he's doing, and you see them more or less portrayed on screen without giving an actual name to the content. And so I kind of liked showing that aspect of it and keeping it still as kind of a Shia LaBeouf biopic of sorts without it actually being one. It kind of helped and made it kind of cool and unique. The general premise of the film is that it focuses on a guy named Otis. It focuses on him as a 12-year-old kid who's again a child actor, and then also him as a 22-year-old young adult played by Lucas Hedges. And you kind of get to see what the results of his childhood have turned him into in regards to addiction and mental illness type of stuff. Shia LaBeouf, I think, is doing a fantastic job at revitalizing his acting career, because in both The Peanut Butter Falcon and in Honey Boy, he's just giving phenomenal performances. He plays the father of this young kid, and he just does a really good job at portraying this guy who is I'm not going to say kind of, he is a crap father, because he basically acts as Otis's manager, but he also has this whole criminal record to him, and you can just see that the only reason that he's really there is because of his son. And he just, it's hard to sympathize with him a lot of times throughout the film, but they do have scenes where you get to kind of see some of his background, and so it does give you some reasons to sympathize with him, besides the fact that he is the crap father, and not the best person in the world. So you do have some sympathy for him. It doesn't make what he's doing better, but I think that Shia LaBeouf does give a wide range of emotions to this guy, who could have just been easily written off as a scumbag. Lucas Hedges and Noah Jupe, they also do really good jobs depicting their individual versions of this Otis character. Just again, showing kind of what he dealt with as a kid with kind of abuse from his father, and just mental abuse and emotional abuse as well as physical abuse, and just seeing how that has reflected into him being an addict, and an alcoholic, and just going on a not great path, because the majority of the film with him as a young adult is him in rehab and trying to cope with what he dealt with as a young kid, and kind of putting that past him and accepting it and moving on from it. The only issue that I really had in that aspect in regards to the actors is that they don't really look alike. One thing which is kind of nice in biopics where they deal with different time periods and time jumps and thus different portrayals of the same character is that they look similar to some extent. And I just didn't feel like the actors looked really anything alike, honestly. And so that was just one thing which kind of took me out of the film just slightly. It's nothing against their portrayals and acting, it's all done really well. But it's just something that I wish could have been a little bit more similar. It's just a nitpick, but it's something which I want to point out. Overall, though, the film is really well done. The way that it portrays the mental illness stuff, I'm not a huge expert in it. I thankfully haven't really had to go through it at all, and so I can't really speak to the authenticity of it, but based on Lucas Hedges' portrayal and kind of showing the PTSD that he has incurred due to his childhood, and kind of having to work that out and go through that, I think it's done very accurately as far as I know, and he does a really good job portraying that, and you get to kind of see the growth that he goes through over the course of the 90-minute film. And just kind of showing those range of emotions and that potential growth through the character. But yeah, overall, it is kind of just one of those simple stories in regards to a film. It doesn't really have 3 different acts. It doesn't really have a huge build-up or anything. It does have a climax, I would argue, just based on kind of where it kind of has the 12-year-old version of Otis leading up to, in regards to kind of a confrontation with his father to some extent. But aside from that, it just kind of shows us kind of what a certain person went through during the course of their childhood and how that reflected and acted on them as an adult. And so I think it does that really well. Shia LaBeouf, again, does a really good job in his performance. I would not be surprised if he gets nominated for something for either this or for Peanut Butter Falcon, because I think he gives very different performances, but also very, very well done performances in both films. So I'm curious to see what his future holds now that he seems to be moving in a good direction, at least acting-wise. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Honey Boy. Definitely check it out if you have the opportunity, but let me know your thought of it in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again. If you so choose, I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.